Okay, we have completed revision of lesson number 1, 2, 3, 4. Science part, we have completed the revision. Today we will be starting with lesson number 13, directions and maps revision. We have already done this lesson, done the notes, everything. Now this is the revision part. You know your exams are starting from 23rd. So taking the revision, this is lesson number 13, directions and map revision. Okay, our textbook EVS 1. We are covering textbook page number 81 to 85. Try to cover full lesson. Okay. Now, what is direction? Let us first understand what is the meaning of direction. Direction means the path along which something moves, lies, or points is called a direction. So, what is direction? The path along which something moves, lies, or points is called direction. Or direction is also position toward which someone or something is faces. So what is the other word meaning of direction? Position towards which someone or something is facing. That is direction. Now why direction is used? Direction is used to determine where things are in relation to other things. When we are standing, we say to our friends, now to the right there is a shop which has good toys or which has good electronic items. So this way we give direction. This all is nothing but direction. When we go to the market, we tell our friend that we are standing next to so and so shop. And if he gets confused, he'll say that come straight in the market, then turn left. This all thing is what? Direction. So why direction is used? Direction is used to determine where things are in relation to other things. Okay. Now, we all have done this in third standard. Again, explaining you that if we stand facing the rising sun, east is in front of us. So what will be behind us? West. So if we stand facing the rising sun, the east is in front of us. Obviously behind us is west. And if we stretch both our arms sideways, on the side if we stretch the arms, the left hand points towards the north and the right hand points towards the south. So if even if we are confused with the direction, what we can do, our facing front side should be east, rising sun. So automatically behind is our west. Our right side is south. Our left side is north. This is very easy to remember. Facing the rising sun, front side is east, back side west, right hand side south, left hand side is north. This way we can find out direction during the daytime. Now this picture is given on your textbook page number 81. There is a small activity given. We have to see the picture and guess which picture is in which direction and complete the table. Now, if you see in the picture, in the north, they have given a clock tower. Then in the east, there is a tank or a house. In the south, there is a house. In the west, there is a tree. And in between north and east, there is a fort. In between east and south, there is a street lamp. In between south and west is a well. And in between north and west, there is mountain. So how we are going to fill this? Let us see. The tower is in the north. So we are going to write north direction. Now where is the mountain? The mountain is in between north and west. So the direction shown will be northwest because it is in between. It is neither fully north, it is neither fully west. So it is northwest. Then the tree is on the west side. So what we will write? West. The next is the well. The well is in between south and west. So my direction will be southwest for the well. The house is in the south. So I'll be writing south. Then the tank is in the east direction. So I'll be writing east. The fort. The fort is in between north and east. So what I'll be writing? I'll be writing north and east. The street lamp. Where is the street lamp? In between east and south. So it will be southeast. Okay. So understood the objects, where they are lying and what we are writing? Okay, let's move ahead. Now, which directions could you guess correctly? If you see the main directions like east, west, north and south, they were easy to guess because they were directly on the way. Means where east and west is pointing, directly we had that direction. So it was easy to guess. And which directions did you find it difficult to guess? So these directions which were neither fully north, neither fully west, they were in between. They were neither in the right, neither in the left, neither up, neither down. They were in between. So that was northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest. These directions were little difficult. Why they were difficult? Because they lied in between, beach mein. Okay. Now, again, we have to refer the same picture, and these pictures. They have given mountain well, street lamp, and fort. They are not towards the main direction. So we have to find out between which two main directions they are located and then write the answer. Like they have shown mountain. The mountain is in between north and west. So wrote north and west, already written. The next is the well. The well is in between south and west. So the well is in between south and west. Next is the street lamp. The street lamp is in between east and south. So south and east. The last one is fort. The fort is in between north and east. So we'll write north and east. Now many things lie between two main directions. To determine the directions in which they lie, we use subdirections. So the main directions here are given in green. No, N is north, S is south, and the subdirections which are in between the main directions. They lie in between the main directions. We call them the subdirections. What do we call them? Subdirections. Now these subdirections, the name of every subdirections begins either with north or south. Now, if you see here, it is NW. NW means northwest. Then NE means northeast. SW means southwest. SE means southeast. So it doesn't go ulta. We don't say east north or west north. The name always begins either with north or south. Okay. Let's move ahead. Now, what is this? I have just shown with a red circle. We have all seen maps now. This thing on the map, it is called compass rose. What is this thing on the map called? It is called compass rose. Now, what is a compass rose? A compass rose shows direction and subdirection on a small scale, on a small piece. It shows the directions and subdirections, that is compass rose. Now we have to make a compass rose. How to make a compass rose? It is very, very easy. How we can make a compass rose? First we have to make a plus sign, big plus sign. In that we have to make a X. So we get this figure on the piece of paper. The top always comes north. What the top always comes? North. So what will be the opposite of north? South. Very good. Then on the right hand side, we have east. When the top is north, the right hand side is always east. Now we got east also. What will the opposite of east? Yes, west. The opposite of east will be west. Now we got all the main directions. North up, south down, east on the right side, west on the opposite of east. Now we have to write the subdirections. Can we write the subdirections? Yes. Now here, in between north and east, what will come? Yes, it will be northeast. Now in between south and east, what will come? South and east. In between west and south, what will come? Southwest. And in between north and west, what will come? northwest. Okay, this way compost rows making is very easy. We can draw the compost rows without any difficulty. Okay, when you look at it, it looks little bit difficult, that it is very hard, we cannot make it, but when you make it, it is very easy. This way you can make a compost rows. Okay, understood compost rows? Let's move ahead. Now directions are always parallel. Parallel means horizontal to the ground surface. It is parallel to the ground. That is, it is having horizontal surface with the ground. That is why a map must always be aligned. Aligned means placed or arranged in a straight line. So why a map must be aligned? Aligned means placed or arranged in a straight line. The map should be aligned to the local directions. So if we know that this side the sun is rising, so we have to take it that way, that this will be east. We cannot change our map and make it west. That will be wrong. So we have to align it to the local directions. Why we have to align it? So that it becomes easier for us to understand the map and the region. So what does it show? That is, it is easier for us to understand the map and the region. So if you have a map in your hand and if it is not showing properly the directions, it is not parallel to the ground, you'll be confused. So to make it easier, it should be aligned to the ground. Okay, let's move ahead. Now here, this activity, use your brain power. It is on page number 83 of the textbook. Okay. Now the first thing they are showing is, telling us is, use the compost rows made earlier to read the given map. Now we have already made a compost rows. I showed you, see on the top, it is showing compost rows. Now what we have to do, where we have to place this compost rows? We have to place this compost rows on Bid district. Which district? Bid district. And then we have to make a list of all the districts that are situated along the main directions and sub directions. Now we place the compost rows on the Bid district. Now, which district is to the north of Bid district? Can you make out? Yes, two districts are to the north of Bid district. They are Jalna and Aurangabad. These two districts are to north of Bid. Then, which district is to the south of Bid? Can you understand which district it is? Yes, it is Usmanabad. Which district it is? Usmanabad. Then to the east, which district is there to the east? Yes, it is Parbhani. Which district it is? Parbhani. Now west, we have, in the west we have Ahmednagar. So this way, these districts are surrounding Bid district. Okay. Now we'll pick up our compost rows from the Bid district and place it on Ahmednagar, so that we come to know which districts are surrounding Ahmednagar. Let us first understand what is to the southeast of Ahmednagar. If you see to the southeast, we have Usmanabad and Solapur. Not in the south, I'm talking about southeast. It is Usmanabad and Solapur. Then to the southwest, we have Pune district. Which district? Pune district. North, in the north we have northeast, sorry, it is northeast, Aurangabad. Which district is there? Aurangabad in the northeast. Then to the southwest, sorry, northwest. To the northwest, we have Nasik district. Which district? Nasik. This way, we covered the district from Ahmednagar's point of view, showing the sub-directions. Which districts are there in the sub-direction, lying in the sub-direction of Ahmednagar district. Okay, now let's move ahead. Now, places in our surroundings are often located at some distance from one another. So it is not that way that all the places are located properly at one place and are same site. these places are also large in size. It is not that they are very small. They are size. Now, first, map is diagrammatic representation of an area of Earth on a flat surface. So, what is map? Diagrammatic representation of an area of Earth on a flat surface, or it is a drawing of the Earth's surface or a part of the surface. So it shows a drawing of the Earth's surface. Like here I have shown houses there. To reach the house, we have to cross the river, then we have to turn left. This way, this is a map. What is this? This is a map. Now maps are comparatively small. They are very small, isn't it? The places which we show, they are very big. Maps are smaller than the area shown by the places. So what are maps? They are areas smaller than areas shown by these places. Therefore, the distance between these places has to be shown in a very limited space on a map. So if we have to show a mountain, like just now I showed mountain, trees, these, they are not very small. We have to make them small and show them on a limited place. Now, if you see, I have shared this world map. Now, our world is so small? No, our world is very big, but we have to show it on a limited space. छोटी सी जगह में we have to show. So we make these places small. So when we draw pictures of houses, mountains and people, we draw them to fit the size of the paper that we are drawing in. So whatever we are drawing on, we make these things small so that they fit on the size of the paper. It is the same while drawing maps. So when we draw the maps, it is same thing. While drawing the map, the distance between two places on the ground has to be shown in such a way that it fits the paper. The distance on the map is proportionate to the distance on the ground. Proportionate means barabar se, with in due proportion. We have to make the map. I'll give you an example so that we are able to understand it. Like this is use your brain power from textbook page number 84. The distance between Rasika and Reshma's house is 10 kilometers. The scale used on the map is 1 centimeter equal to 1 kilometer. Now we cannot, kilometer is very vast, so we cannot show it on the map. The paper is small. So to remove that confusion, what we are doing when we make the map, we convert that 1 kilometer into 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter is small, we can show it on the map. So we have to convert it. So on a map, what would be the distance between the two houses? Now using a ruler, draw the distance. So this way scale is given on a map, and whenever we are drawing a map, this way scale is given. Now here we have to find out the distance between Rasika and Reshma's house when we draw the map. It is 10 kilometer, and what we did, we converted that 1 kilometer into 1 centimeter. So 10 kilometer will become 10 centimeters. So instead of doing 10 kilometer on a paper, which is very big, we made it short. We made it into 10 centimeter, and that we can draw on the map on a small piece of paper. So this way we use the scale on a map. So what is a scale? It is given in the corner of a map. Can you see this here? The numbers given in the corner of a map, that is a scale. It is an important part of a map. And what it is, it shows the ratio between distance on the ground and the map. Like I showed you Rasika and Reshma's house. 10 kilometers we converted to 1 centimeter. So it is the ratio between distance on the ground and a map. Okay. Let's move ahead. We have to always remember, what we have to always remember, directions and subdirections have been determined by man on the basis of the rising and setting of the sun. Now we made a compass rose. For making a compass rose also we need the rising sun and the setting sun. Na? So directions and subdirections have been determined by man on the basis of the rising and setting of the sun. So this shows that nature can be our guide. What does this show? That nature can be our guide. Nature helps us in finding the directions. Okay. Now I'm doing textbook page number 85. What's the solution? This question I'm doing. The question is Ranjana and Julie are going on a picnic. They want to go from their residence, that means their house, to the garden. Where they want to go? To the garden. They have a map of the area. This is the map of the area. Help them find out the distance from their residence to the garden and help them find out the direction of the garden from their residence. Now first let us understand the map, what is given in the map. If you see in the index, hotel is given. Which color it is? It is pink color box, that is a hotel. Next is office. Office is also given. Two red boxes we can see on the map, they are the offices. Then next is the gray color box, that is central market, that is shown there. Pink circle is given, that is the bus stop, that also they have to cross to reach the garden. Then what is this? This is a scale they have given. They have converted this kilometer into meters, I suppose. Yes. This is the scale of the map. Now we have to find out the distance from their residence to the garden. This I told you to find. Remember? The distance according to my this calculation is 9 centimeter. If you don't get it 9 centimeter, let me know. But it is 9 centimeter according to my scale. Now this 9 centimeter, I have to convert it into meters. Now how I'll convert into meters? 9 into 5 meter, because the scale is of 5 meters. 0, 5, then 10. So 5 meter. So 9 centimeter into 5 meters. The distance from Ranjana and Julie's residence to the garden is 45 meters. Now I cannot write 9 centimeters. So I converted that 9 centimeter into meters. And they are not showing it into 1 and 2. They have given the scale of 5, 10. So I multiplied by 5. I got 9 5s are 45. So 45 meter is the distance. Then they have to find out the direction of the garden from their residence. So for this, we have to put a compass rose. Now after putting the compass rose, what is the direction of the garden they are showing? Yes, it is showing southeast. What is the direction of the garden? It is southeast. Okay. Now this question which I have taken, this question is there in your workbook, page number 3, part 2 workbook, EVS 1 part 2 workbook. A map of India's northeast states, commonly called the Seven Sisters, is given. Look at the map and answer the following questions. Now the map they have given is called Seven Sisters because they include all the northeastern 7 states. Now what are the 7 sisters, or which states are included in the 7 sisters? They are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Tripura. These are included in the states which are called 7 sisters. What they are called? 7 sisters. Now what is the question based? Let us see. The 7 sisters are surrounded by 4 different countries. Find and enlist them. So 4 different countries are China, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Myanmar. So which countries these states are surrounded by? They are surrounded by China, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Myanmar. Which is the next question. One Indian state which is not a part of 7 sisters also appears on the map. Now which Indian state which is not a part is appearing? Yes, it is West Bengal. If you see in this picture, West Bengal is appearing, which is not a part of the Seven Sisters. Okay. The next is name the state which is to the northeast of Mizoram using the compass rose. It is West Bengal. See here. If we keep the compass rose, it is West Bengal. This pink color, West Bengal, it is passing Meghalaya and joining Guwahati and Shillong on the side. So, what it is? West Bengal. Sorry, which state is to the west of Assam? This is to the west of Assam. So, sorry, west of Assam. See, can you make that? West of Assam, that pink color line? Yes, that pink color is past part of West Bengal. So, to the west of Assam is West Bengal. It is not Meghalaya or Shillong, it is West Bengal. Then the last question is, name the state which is to the northeast of Mizoram using the compass rose. Now Mizoram is here and northeast of Mizoram is Manipur. Yes, which state is there? It is Manipur. Which state it is? Manipur. Now, next I'll be discussing what is an atlas. This question is there in your workbook. What is an atlas? An atlas is a book or a collection of maps and charts from all over the earth. So what is an atlas? An atlas is a book or a collection of maps and charts from all over the earth, from all over the world. That is called atlas. Okay. Now, favorite part, hard words. First only I'm telling you, take the screenshot. Afterwards, miss not taken, not happened, don't do that. Okay. So located, which is the first word, located. Then determine, determine. Adjacent, which is the third word, adjacent. Beginning, beginning. Necessary, necessary. Parallel, parallel. Understand, understand. Location, location. Take the screenshot of the hard words. Surroundings, surroundings. Limited, limited. Take the screenshot of the hard words. Distance, distance. Proportionate, proportionate. Ruler, ruler. Compass rose, compass rose. Rising, rising. Identifying, identifying. Region, region. Situated, situated. I hope everyone has taken the screenshot of the hard words. You are supposed to read the lesson and underline these hard words in the lesson. Find these words in the lesson and underline them. Okay. So that was EVS lesson number 13. I was thinking that we should start with lesson number 14 also. A part I'll explain because we have still got 10 minutes left with us. Yes, we have ample time. So I can cover at least little topic from lesson number 14 because lesson number 14 is very big. Okay. So lesson number 14, I hope there should not be any confusion because this is also very easy. I'll be covering a small part of this. Okay. Maps and symbols. Our textbook, page number 86 to 91. I'll be explaining only page number 86 today. Okay. Now, first I'll be explaining you natural things. Now the sun, the clouds, water or sea, trees, the sand on the beach, these all are natural. We cannot make them, they are naturally formed. The flowers, insects or butterflies, birds, this is a hummingbird, the mountains, the animals, these all are natural. we cannot make them. This butterfly represents all the insects. This bird, hummingbird, represents all the birds. This panda, it represents all the animals. These all are natural. Now, car is not natural. It is made by man. Man cannot run fast, so it has made a car. House, to protect itself, to take shelter, he has made house. This is also man-made. Ship, man cannot walk on water. It cannot swim like a fish. So it has made ship to cross the oceans. To cover itself, God has given the skin like animals to him, but to cover himself and to look fashionable, he has made clothes, man-made. To write, he has made pencil, again man-made. Now, time is natural. We cannot control time, but clock is man-made. Man made the clock so that he understands the time more easily. Man cannot fly like a bird, so he made aeroplane so that he can fly in the air and reach his destination fast. These all are made by men. Now this picture is on your textbook page number 86. Now if you observe this picture, we can see mountains, there is a river, there's greenery everywhere on the river, stones are lying. Then there is a water tower, tree, house, well, then there is a school. A house, it's looking like a big house, but it is a school. In village, they have the school. Children are standing outside the school. Can you see the girl in the uniform and the boy? Yes. So this picture it is there in the textbook. Now we have to find out that which of these are man-made and which of them are formed naturally. So let us understand which are natural. Yes, river is natural. Man cannot make a river. Trees are natural. Hill is also natural. Grass, that is also natural. Man-made, yes, school is made by man. Water tower, made by man. A house, made by man. A well, made by men. In the textbook, in the column, they have given by mistake road, but road, I cannot see road on the in the picture. So well is there. So I made it into well. Now, we should always remember that man-made objects are made from natural resources. So from where man-made objects are made? They are made from natural resources. I'll explain you this, how natural resources. For example, man-made things we get from natural resources, like furnitures. We get chairs, we have benches. From where we get this? From the wood. This wood comes from the trees, and trees are natural resources, isn't it? We cannot make trees, but we can make furniture using the wood from the trees. Then juices and jams we get from fruits, and these fruits come from trees, again natural resources. Juices and jams we can make, but using fruits from trees. In the winter we wear sweaters now. This sweater comes from wool, and from where this wool comes? It comes from sheep, and this is also natural resources. So all the man-made objects, they require natural things, they require natural resources, so that we obtain the man-made things from there. Like when we make a house, we need the ground, we need water for mixing the sand. These all things are natural resources. With the help of this only we get man-made things. So I hope this much is clear. I'm stopping sharing my screen and coming to you people in the chat box. Okay. Uh, okay, so lesson number 13 was clear. The revision part is easy, understood. I hope no doubt is there. And lesson number 14, I covered natural and man-made resource things. I hope that was also clear. Yes. Okay, so understood lesson number 3 and lesson number 14. We just started with natural and man-made things. So I don't think so. You people must be having any doubt. The lessons are very easy. I gave the hard words of lesson number 13. You are going to read lesson number 13. How is the use of compost rows? Beta, I just showed now how it is used. If you place it on the map, you come to know the direction. If you place it in your on the ground also, you come to know the place. Like just now I showed you when I placed it on bead, the directions, the other states, other districts which were lying east west. This way we come to know the directions with the help of the compost rows. Okay, and Ansh, we all will be leaving now in 5 minutes. Okay, so the lesson was very easy. Lesson number 13. Read the lesson, mark the hard words which I gave you, and learn the objectives from the workbook. Okay, lesson number 14. I covered only one topic: natural and man-made things. Next session, I'll be explaining the full lesson, and we'll try to complete the revision part of lesson number 14 in the next session. Then we'll be having only lesson number 16 left, which we completed before the revision. Mahilaka, you came only to say bye, beta, then you can leave, Mahilaka. It's okay. So I hope the lesson was clear and everyone understood it properly. Please do the revision, learn the objectives, okay? And everyone has taken the hard words now? Yes, Sarthak, house, wood, tree, very good. Okay, so I hope the lesson was clear. We'll meet again in the next session. What, Harshal, why no? What happened? Okay, so everyone, I'm Siddhi, that is no, this is my 5th revision lesson which I completed and still you are telling you have not taken the screenshot. I can't help it, beta. Mark your own word now. Okay, so leaving the lecture. Bye everyone, ending the lecture. Have a good time. Bye-bye.